my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh yes, cometh a man, cometh the hour, just in time. JP Sebastian is here to serve. It's all about the family this morning. It's all about family movies, and it's all on the circuit. So let's dive straight into it. JP, how you doing, bruv? Corduroy shit and all.
Exactly. My eyes are up here. Like,
I can't resist. The fashionista in you has just
greeted my
come to
shirt.
life. Hey, how you doing, bro?
Boop showing.
It's got a cool, like, country X-Man feel to it. I like
You're gonna
it.
need an 8K TV for this going on down here, man. But yes, lumberjack vibes.
Good, bro.
We're talking movies.
Yes.
Look at us.
What have you got for us, man? We've got, obviously, stemming from the fashion chat, I know what's fashion right now is the fact that we're talking about family, talking about a lot of hyped up movies that we've gone through before.
Yeah, sure.
That are out on cinema right
And
now.
this might be helpful because there's been a lot of violent stuff on the big screen. Old Boy. Go watch Old Boy. Go watch Old Boy. It's a masterpiece. Go watch Old Boy on big screen right now.
And but that's for the adults.
Do
for
not
adults.
take your kids to that.
Don't take your kids to that one.
Take the family.
If you are wanting to take your family to any movies, though, then there is a list for you, and
Yeah.
JP's generously put that one together. Starting with Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken.
What's a Kraken? Have you encountered it before? You're a lifeguard.
Not yet.
Mythical
I hope it
ocean
never
creature.
happens.
Thankfully, it will not happen for you. But for her, it's something that she's sort of desperately waiting for. A teenage girl struggles to, I suppose, come out of her shell. Wink, wink.
Ooh, so we can resonate with this if we're a youngster,
I'm
perhaps.
wearing corduroy in public. I think I'm doing fine. Ruby Gillman, it's first good thing about it there is that it's a DreamWorks animation. And I think DreamWorks has this great record for everything else that we're seeing from other studios is like, how do we do a remake of a spin-off of a remake? But DreamWorks is they're the people who did Shrek. So they're going to do either fresh retellings of old tales or they're going to do brand new stuff you've never seen before. So even if you don't necessarily, even if this isn't up your alley, I think that DreamWorks has a good record for the whole family and that the little kids are definitely going to enjoy. Obviously, the bright colors, the cute characters and all that kind of stuff. The age restriction here is like, or the recommendation would be 7 to 9 years old. But also DreamWorks, obviously, do you remember the Shrek series? There's plenty for the adults to laugh at.
There's plenty for the big kids, yeah.
Yeah, it's a cute story of a coming of age, like I said, a girl and her family of sea creatures who try to blend in Canadian life, act as if they're just these sort of weird humanoids. Interestingly, that character is modeled directly on Ariel of The Little Mermaid. Interestingly, she moves a lot more like Ursula from The Little Mermaid because she's the bad guy in this. And so I wish more movies would do this. This is a fun conversation.
It's a fun play.
It's sort of like, you know, when you see ads directly rip off their competitors or whatever. Like, Ruby Gillman is asking, wait, is Ariel the bad guy for like wanting to leave her people and believing that there's some supremacy in the humanoid form? Whereas she's like, well, you know, what if there's a power in returning to your roots? So whatever, you make up your own sort of political opinion about that, but it's not all of that. It's fun, obviously, for the whole family. I'm sure. Ain't seen it myself, but DreamWorks has a good record, and that's not
definitely worthy of the list of family movies this weekend or this week to get involved in. Next up, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Mutant Mayhem.
Turtle power. First weird factoid about this is I grew up in South Africa. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, people were burning posters when we were kids. I don't know if anyone remembers this. We weren't allowed to call them ninjas because that was satanic.
Oh, whoa, really? I don't remember that. Okay. Hectic.
So it was turned into, only in South Africa, Teenage Hero Mutant Turtles. It was ridiculous.
What?
Whatever.
Okay. I'm glad that hasn't
throwback.
stuck around.
My uncle stole a poster from me, and I had one in my bedroom doing my rituals. Anyway, so this movie, I've seen it, and I gave it 9 out of 10. I'd be tempted even possibly to push it to more if I keep talking about it, because, dudes, it is beautiful. And in light of the man who just said, wow, back there, that's Graham, who loves Spider-Verse dearly.
He actually loves all kids' movies at the moment. He's like vicariously living through his kids at the
We
moment.
are actually his legal minders.
Yes,
this
is true.
This movie is incredible. The animation, if you're a fan of stuff like the weird kind of stuff that you grew up on, like Adventure Time, and even before that, Ed, Ed and Eddie. You know, that weird sort of off-the-cuff, organic sort of comedy, not taking itself too desperately seriously. And something that I didn't mention in my review, what's so cool about the energy of this, is if you've ever watched a child like draw in a fugue state with a crayon, like they're a mad composer kind of thing, they're always going, and then like what you're seeing in the visual is the oral at the same time. Okay. Like you're watching sound effects, but they do this fine balancing act where it feels like the children's drawings you used to do. the teenage joints used to do. That used
It's
to.
just like authentic symphony that gets created from that experience.
But this tightrope between it has to obviously be good at the same time, and it is incredible, guys. Also, the most adorable movie I've seen all year so far, and probably the hardest you're going to laugh to. And that's partly because it's produced by Seth Rogen. It's got his voice on there too. But the director Jeff Rao, he has a good record too. Ice Cube is a revelation as a voice actor. He's probably done stuff before. I'm misremembering, but man, he's hilarious in this. Superfly.
Superfly. Look,
Don't
man,
miss
it's something
this.
to get
Don't
hyped
miss
up.
this,
The
guys.
fact that he gave it 9 out of 10 popcorns, say no more. Let's move on, brother. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Just
The
for
amount of
Graham.
times we've hyped this up. G-Man's going, whoa. Another one is his list for sure.
And I know a lot of this is obviously you've seen already, so a lot of it, some of you, but now, you know, things are getting crowded out by Barbie and Oppenheimer. Options are getting thin, and this probably only has 2 more weeks in cinema. So if you haven't gone to see it yet, if you haven't gone to see it a 3rd time yet, you owe it to yourself, because the cheesy little one-line I said about it earlier when I was doing the review way back is that the next time you're going to get to see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is at MoMA in New York, the Museum of Modern Art, because it is a masterpiece. This one I gave 10 out of 10.
I love the depth of it and how they've actually conveyed the message of multiverses, and to kids to be able to almost understand that, it's beautifully brought across.
But your favorite thing, I mean, while the technical stuff is a jaw as well, like your favorite thing was the heart of capturing the feeling of youth.
Exactly that, and it resonates.
The joie de vivre, and
Yes.
that hopefulness, at the same time a trepidation, is what is the future ahead for me, at the same time I'm finding young love, etc., etc. So, yeah, Spider-Man Across the
Oh,
Spider-Verse,
the
huge.
list is getting hot, and it's not stopping there. Next up, we've got Transformers Rise of the Beast, adding to this list, of course.
Was pleasantly surprised, because with Michael Bay movies in the past, I usually have to be laid on my back and someone puts an ice cream stick in my mouth. A very bad experience for me visually.
And you've kind of, in my opinion, actually given up on this franchise. I'm gonna be
No,
honest.
I wasn't invested in the first place. Switch is not whatever. It's not made for me. That's fine. Like,
Yeah.
JP can rag on stuff all he likes, but there are some people who love it dearly. Yo, our camera people are like leering back there, like like someone let off an odor. They are not liking the Transformers.
Great, you've just made enemies.
The grumpiest faces in the camera people. But this one, and they might disagree, and some of you even at home might disagree, but JP, why am I speaking about myself in the 3rd person? I found it refreshingly funny. I don't usually like Pete Davidson, a guy from SNL. He's not my flavor, but he really did make the character, whose name I can't remember because they all look like a garbage heap, lots and lots of fun in this compared to the previous ones, you angry detractors out there. So for me, it was an upswing compared to the previous. And so if I gave you ages 7 to 9 in Ruby Gillman, yes, if you have 13-year-olds in your family and you do want to jolt out because, you know, you're a dad or a mom who grew up on MechWarrior, who grew up on Transformers, who grew up on Gundam or whatever else, even Pacific Rim, whatever, then, hey, maybe consider taking them to Transformers. Because it sort of went under the radar with Barbie on top, with The Little Mermaid, with X, Y, and Z. So,
I just think,
it's a lot.
remember, there's kids out there that find this cool. Right here as well.
Yeah.
Big machines, transforming, sounds, action. This is what
And
kids
that
love.
sound and that action, the first important thing is that they polished that. The previous ones were a lot of a visual mess as far as I'm concerned. Hard for me to keep track of what's going on. I need an adrenaline shot at least every 5 minutes to keep focused.
Man.
But this at least was a bit more tight, more polished.
Beautiful list put together. I can't thank you enough. Just to close it for the mention of the Blue Beetle and, of course, Doraemon or something.
Nobita's Sky Utopia for the tiniest ones.
Yes.
And Blue Beetle obviously came out last week. We won't go into that at length, but I'm sure you're going to be seeing that anyway. More options for the whole family.
Beautiful. JP coming through for everything that you can get involved in with your kids too. It's hyped up. It's been reviewed, so it's definitely going to make them smile, dance, and have a lot of fun. But get out there, and these are the movies for you. JP Sebastian coming through. Thank you so much, brother. And of course, Mzansi, don't go anywhere. The conversation is still hot. We are still serving you. We've got Lach of the Day coming up and another performance. Don't go anywhere.